Well, let's go ahead and get started here. We'll start with you, Sean, and then we'll slide over to Nathan. Um, and I think Justin's just hanging out listening. So, Sean, whenever you're ready, let me know what I can do to help you out.
Okay, so it sounds like John might have already sent you my drawing. I've got a problem with the node numbers in my remote area are not matching um, the printout. And it's a drawing that's got more than one remote area, so I'm not sure if that has
Okay.
a problem. The one that's on the lower right-hand side.
So your 100 series remote area is not, excuse me, is not matching the reports.
No, sir. The reports are trying to go with 1200 series.
Interesting. Let's see what. I'm just curious. If I do this and hit OK. Huh, that didn't update. That's so weird. If I go there and preview that. Okay, so I'm getting a 1400 at one of the sprigs here. Huh. Where in the world is... Oh, geez. This is... Yeah, alright, alright. Okay, what do we got going on here? Okay, we need to have this turned off, Sean. Never.
Okay.
In fact, there's been serious internal discussion about whether this be removed from the program entirely, because this dynamically renumber 98% of the time leads to problems. I've seen the occasional 1 or 2% of users that have figured out how to dial this in, but I personally don't know how they do it. Because basically this is telling the program constantly renumber node tags every time you run an analysis report, every time you generate hydraulic reports,
Now,
every time you
is
open
that,
properties of a remote area.
is that controlled by each drawing? Because I normally do not see that checked.
It is, I believe it is controlled by each drawing. So if I was to open a new drawing here, and I just turn that on, and then I open another new drawing and check, it's off. Now, what might be happening, Sean, is if this is turned on in a default, if this is turned on in a property, or sorry, a settings file. So if you go to your file menu and select options, if you're starting with the settings file, that setting might be turned on in that settings file. So then, and if that's the case, every new drawing that you launch might start with that setting toggled on.
Oh, and what about loading a setting?
Same thing. If this option, if this hydraulic calculation settings option in the node tags, if this is turned on within a settings file, and you load that settings file, then that settings file is going to override every setting that currently exists
Gotcha.
in whatever drawing. So yes, if you're loading settings file that now what you could do is you could so you could run a quick test. You could open a new drawing that's utilizing a settings file, and then within that new drawing, check that hydraulic node tag setting. Sorry, I need to jump back in here. We got people trying to. I hope I haven't been ignoring too many people there, but so you could test this by opening a new drawing that uses the settings file,
Yeah.
checking that setting, then going into your file menu, into options, changing this back to start with program default settings, then opening a new drawing and see if that setting is still toggled on, which it shouldn't be, because that's what I'm doing here. I'm opening new drawings with program default, and the program default has this setting turned off.
Okay, well, I just unchecked that in my settings,
Okay.
and it looks like it's possibly still acting the same.
When launching new drawings?
No, in that one particular drawing.
Okay, so any existing drawing that you have will save the settings that have been established within that drawing. So
what,
you should be able to, within that, so let me just jump back. So within this drawing, and you're probably going to want to do the same thing in your XREF drawing as well, but within each of these drawings, if you go to your hydraulic calculation settings, turn this off, then save the drawing,
okay.
then you should be able to reopen these drawings individually, and the settings should remain off. So simply opening and saving drawings is not the same thing as loading a settings file into that drawing. So the settings file that we load, that's really only intended to establish some default settings during the load process. Once that's done, anything that we change within that drawing is saved uniquely and independently to that drawing, including settings. There are a few global settings that apply kind of across the board, but none of the settings within the settings menu, other than in the drawing, are applied globally to active drawings that are either opened or have already been saved, including fab standards. I mean, you could come in here and adjust fab standards within one drawing, save it, and those settings will remain as you set them uniquely to that particular drawing. That won't necessarily apply to every drawing that you continue to open or have already saved.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try that out right now and see what happens.
Yeah, give that a shot. That should, in fact, I'm just curious now. Alright, but if I update these nodes now, yeah, so it changed a few of these to 14, actually all of them. So at this point, what you're going to want to probably do, Sean, is do a renumber. Yeah, let's just do that. Sprinkler tags only, start with 100. Okay, so now get everything back to 100 in here. And now everything is populating in the 100s.
Okay, that's much better.
So you probably will end up having to go through and renumber your node tags for each remote area after turning off the dynamically renumber. But once you do that, then those numbers should no longer change. That dynamic renumber, that, like I said, that leads to a lot of trouble. So with that off, you should be in good shape at this point. So go through, renumber some node tags, verify things aren't changing, and you can stay on the line. I'm going to jump to the next person here, and we'll circle back to you a little later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You got it.